Women entrepreneurs are one who have understood the challenges of running the home as well as the country. The role of the women entrepreneur cannot be taken lightly, even to the lightest extent as far as possible. Adjusting both this push and pull factor is a key challenge for a women entrepreneur to come up. Driving to entrepreneurship is the concept of identity and self-respect. Good morning and welcome to the second session of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management in the 6th semester B.B.A, where we're going to talk about the women entrepreneur. Now, it's a very, very exciting topic. Why? Because women are going to be the future leaders of the world. So let's just go further and try to understand in that context how women entrepreneurship is changing our country. Now, the increasing presence of women as entrepreneurs has led to the change in the demographic characteristics of business and economic growth of India. Absolutely a truthful statement which cannot be denied at all. Why? Because of late you have seen a lot of young women entrepreneurs who have come across and tried to develop a whole lot of new businesses that have been going on. Now, when we talk about women entrepreneurship, it is not something new to our country. There have been several leaders in terms of business when it comes to the women entrepreneurship, and they have also equally excelled like men in the areas of business. Today, when you look into the banking financial services sector or the information technology sector, the medical or the pharma sector, there are several examples who have been able to change the dynamics of leadership in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of development altogether. Now, what is very significant about the women entrepreneurship in our country is that if you start understanding the women-owned business enterprises, they're playing a very, very prominent role and inspiring role in terms of generating employment opportunities in the country. And secondly, women entrepreneurs are one who have understood the challenges of running the home as well as the country. That is in terms of the companies, in terms of business also. So what women entrepreneurs have really aimed and targeted in terms of moving further is promoting a work-life balance and also creating formidable enterprises that can stand strong and provide good opportunities for all of us. The next thing is that the sustainable growth factor on women entrepreneurs to promote balanced growth in the country, which I was talking about. Let me also try to bring in this word called as sustainability. Most of the entrepreneurs today, especially when you start looking from the men category altogether, they've always been trying to be very quick in terms of changing, in terms of shifting and moving forward. There are many companies today who believe that the speed at which we move what counts rather than the stability. But when it comes to women entrepreneurship, the question of stability remains the priority. Women always believe that it is stability that gives you speed. It is stability that gives you identity. It's stability that gives you growth. So women entrepreneurs are one who have built the enterprises on a balanced growth formula, and they've always understood that the stability in terms of work-life balance, the stability in terms of career development will bring in a comprehensive career focus and growth to the entire economy. And that's why you see that there has been a lot of importance being given to women entrepreneurship in our country. Now, moving further, let's try to understand the role of a women entrepreneur. One of the most important things which I would like to talk about, other than the push-pull factors, I would also like to talk about the concept of women entrepreneurship from the field of family and as well as from the side of the company. Now, most of the women entrepreneurs are driven by two important factors, that is the family and the company. One side, they have to balance the family because there is a huge amount of pressure in terms of running the family, in terms of feeding them, in terms of providing a financial strength to the family. Now, the other side, when they think about a corporate life, when they think about a company, that requires a separate architecture, that requires a separate stamina, that requires a separate mindset altogether. So somewhere down the lane, they have to strike balance between family and the corporate life, family and the organization. So most of the time what happens is that for a women entrepreneur, if they're not able to strike balance, they fail to become successful entrepreneurs. But then, most of the women entrepreneurs have understood this factor very, very clearly, and that's why they have now started extending a huge amount of support to the family. Now, in general, when you start looking into the life partner, particularly women opting to become entrepreneurs, find it challenging to stand in the business independently. That's one very big challenge that you still face in India. Most of the women entrepreneurs still find that they need support in terms of the family members coming in forward, or in terms of the management guidance, in terms of financing, in terms of organizing, advising, consulting, and marketing the business and taking it forward. So there are certain minute areas where the women still feel that if they have a better support, if they have a better drive coming in, they would be able to take the business to greater heights. But anyway, the role of the women entrepreneur cannot be taken lightly, even to the lightest extent as far as possible. Why? Because women entrepreneurs have even started creating their own marketing setup. They've also come up the ladder, and they are trying to come up with bigger ventures and deals in the coming years. Now, moving further, let's talk about this push-pull factors in terms of the women entrepreneurship. The urge to do business based on their interests and to contribute substantially for the economic development of the members of the family and being a major breadwinner by the women entrepreneur reveals aptly that the women are capable to become successful entrepreneurs. Now, what is happening here is that there was a time in India where we used to believe that women are only meant to support the family by staying back at home. Today, that concept has completely changed. That view has completely changed. Today, women stand in the front equal to men, ready to shoulder the responsibilities, ready to guide the family, ready to become a breadwinner and support the family to all extent possible. So women are no more taking a back seat. Women are no more just going to restrict themselves to the kitchen. Women are going to become the board members. They are moving all steps, all leagues again in terms of coming forward from the kitchen to right to the boardroom altogether. So that's where women are ready to overcome the push-pull factors. Now, when you see that push and pull factors, you need to understand there are certain things where family give the necessary support to that women in terms of growing. There are certain times when, because of family members, because of the environmental conditions and the family situations, they have to come down in terms of growth. So adjusting both this push and pull factor is a key challenge for a women entrepreneur to come up. But rightly said, if you start looking today, the economic development is definitely looking at the women entrepreneurship to excel and take the economy to greater heights. Now, moving further, when you start looking into the push factors here, it points out that women come into entrepreneurship due to the fact of family compulsion, and also they are pushed to the situation of shouldering the family responsibility. Anyhow, it is good to see that women are emerging largely in doing business and engaging in entrepreneurship. Now, let me just give you the example of Amazon, which started identifying several women entrepreneurs across India who are talented enough in terms of creating a small business enterprise. Now, for example, there might be women who are excellent in terms of making some home need products. There are women who are excellent in terms of making some accessory goods. There are women who are capable in terms of making the painting art related goods. But the biggest problem is they need a platform through which these products can be showcased. So Amazon took the opportunity of developing women entrepreneurship. They provided a platform where these goods can be showcased. They took up the marketing responsibility and they made it possible that each and every talent is today being recognized in India. When you look at the carton boxes of Amazon, when you read through the stories of those young women entrepreneurs who have come up a long way to establish their name, it's really fascinating. It's really motivating. And that's what women today need. These are the push-pull factors which I'm talking about. You need a platform, you need a service, you need a system through which the women entrepreneur can be taken front altogether. So that's why I would definitely say that when you look at women entrepreneurship, it is going to be the emerging thing in the Indian economy. Going further, let's also talk about the motivational factors for women getting into entrepreneurship in India. The first motivation factor is the word called as freedom, which I would like to talk about. Today, women want freedom not just from family life, not just from relationships, but they want freedom in terms of setting up their own identity. So that freedom of making up their own decisions, making up their own ideology, creating their own identity is definitely going to matter. The second thing is that the educational qualification can fetch women some job, but with sufficient experience, they can start entrepreneurship. Today, when you look into the exam results of any board exams, it is quite interesting to see that women in terms, I would like to say the girls are definitely topping the results board compared to that of the boys. Now, similarly, in any of the educational field, if you start seeing, women are equally educated like men and they also get a similar kind of role in the organization. The only difference here is that probably women most of the time get restricted themselves in the mindset. But now, what women are looking is that they try to see that they get a job after their qualifications, and using the job and the experience, they want to come into entrepreneurship. So with a little bit of experience, with a little bit of knowledge, trying to understand the system, definitely one motivational factor to start up entrepreneurship is there. The third thing is that innovative thinking. Many women are becoming highly innovative, which is actually exploring them the possibility of entrepreneurship. Now, most of the time when you start seeing advertisements like wheel washing powder advertisement, when you start seeing, or when you start looking into Colgate altogether, you would suddenly start seeing that there has been a thrust towards the women entrepreneurship. You would see in the advertisement that the women wants to start her own business. For example, in the advertisement, you might see that the women wants to start a small baking house, confectionery kind of a business from her home. She wants to bake cakes and she wants to sell it. The advertisement itself starts focusing on the women entrepreneurship. In several other ads, you will see that women entrepreneurship is being focused again and again. That's why, because women have the innovative thinking capacity. They can excel and they can provide excellent ideas. So that's why innovative thinking is actually a very big push, a very big motivating factor for the women to take up entrepreneurship. The fourth thing is that the self-identity, which I was trying to talk about. In no ways women are lesser than men. Women are equal to men, and that has to be understood clearly. So anywhere women want their self-identity, it has to be recognized, it has to be told very, very clearly, and they want that respect. A woman might be working in a smaller role compared to man, or she might be working in an unorganized sector, or she might be working in a company whose name is not yet known. But at the same time, women does not want to give up on her respect, on her self-respect. So what is very, very important today that is driving to entrepreneurship is the concept of identity and self-respect. So people want that identity, people want that respect. That's why women are joining into the entrepreneurship role. The next thing is that the social status which has been denied for generations. In India especially, the social status after a woman gets married, she only gets the title of a wife or a mother, but she never gets the title of a CEO, an entrepreneur, a founder, or a board member, or a director. That was not given at all. But today, the things have changed. Today, a lady is also a mother, she is also a wife, but also she is a CEO of a company. She is a founder of a venture. So that's exactly the social status that we are talking about. Please log on yourself to LinkedIn. You will see the power of women entrepreneurship. You will be able to see how many young women have today transformed the society. They have created an identity for themselves. The next thing is good support and cooperation that's coming in from family as well as from their life partners who are actually promoting the entrepreneurship to come up in a big way. So these are some of the motivating factors for women today for them to start up and the journey of entrepreneurship and take it forward. Now, the next thing is the challenges that you are going to see as a women entrepreneur. One of the biggest challenges I still see is the male-dominant society. This is probably true to the Indian context, but yes, we are trying to overcome the challenge of late. The next thing is about the stiff competition ahead of women entrepreneurs, because the Indian society has been a male-dominant society. They have been able to give importance to men and the businesses that were started by them. But today, when women want to start their business, there's already a stiff competition that is going on. The next thing is most of the women entrepreneurs do face a lack of support from family members and society. Though this statement looks a little bit contradictory to what I told in the previous slide, let me just highlight on this. There are still several society members, there are still several places in India, there are still several, sections in India where you would see that women entrepreneurship is not completely recognized. So that's why I would like to make this statement by saying that some of the family members do not want to support the women entrepreneurship. They just want to nip it in the bud. So they don't allow the women to come up. So that's exactly where, the women entrepreneurs face the challenge and they feel that they might not be able to come up. The next thing is the financial institutions have not been able to give a strong support. But nevertheless, there are several NGOs, there are several self-help groups that have come up across in India where they're trying to provide loans for the MSME. But primarily, if you go to the banks and if you start looking in for loans, for the women entrepreneurship especially, there are not much of branches. So these are some of the challenges that are being faced by the women entrepreneurs. Now, the other thing is that the women's family obligation at the home, nurturing, bringing up of the children, doing the domestic work takes most of the time, because of which they are not able to concentrate on the entrepreneurship front. Generally, very few women are techno-savvy. They know about the technology, so they are able to excel. Now, the technology has always been a hindsight thought for women. For most of them, I'm not making this as a generalistic statement. There have been women who especially think that technology is not my cup of tea. But nevertheless, today, even women have also started using advanced mobile phones. They also know about the technology. They also know about the app. They also know how to use a computer. But what is the biggest challenge is that there are sections of society who have not still opened up their doors to the technology, have not embraced the new technologies that have come, and that makes them go a step back in terms of taking up the entrepreneurship journey. Now, the role of government policies and institutions of women, especially when they have started promoting, you need to see that the government of India has come up with a lot of importance towards the SSI sector, where it has been evident that a greater importance today is being given by government, where they have started giving a lot of importance. They have given a lot of emphasis for women to start up. They have given incentives. They have given a lot of new loan facilities and other things, so that they would be able to provide a better push to the women entrepreneurship. In fact, our current Prime Minister, when he spoke about Beti Padhao, Beti Badhao, his ideology was very, very clear. He wanted the women and girl empowerment to happen in our country, because moment a woman gets educated, she educates the entire family, she educates the entire world, and automatically the entrepreneurial spirit will also start going up. So we have been trying to focus on this factor very clearly. We want the SSI sector, we want the MSME sector to give a lot of priority to women entrepreneurship. And of late, what we have also tried to see is that there are several private banks, NBFCs, who have also started coming up in terms of providing a lot of importance to women entrepreneurship. In that case, I would also like to quote an example of Bandhan Bank, which is a bank located in the state of West Bengal, the headquarters there, but still they have a lot of branches across India, and they have given a lot of importance for the women entrepreneurship across the country. So that's also something to be really noted upon, and we are trying to come up in this journey of entrepreneurship. Now, the other recommendations for the development of the women entrepreneurship is that we are seeing that women needs to be given awareness about this factor. Many of them still need that awareness factor. There should be a district level committee to cooperate and push forward this ideology. There must be a separate forum where they can demand upon the needs and the factors are looked into. It is also the need of the hour to enhance the quality of education imparted to women. In order to encourage women to embark on small business, it's necessary to develop professional competencies and other factors. So all these things are coming towards you, are really making you understand that yes, women entrepreneurship is going to take forward and things are going to change for us. So with this simple journey, with this simple factor, I would like to go forward, and I would like to say that definitely women entrepreneurship is going to become the next big thing in the Indian economy. With this, I come to the conclusion of the session. I hope and believe that all the information that has been shared through this session will be of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming session, we are going to see the different types of entrepreneurs. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining with me today on this wonderful session.